beg for forgiveness, you would never need permission to access the divine. Tonight, you are going to learn that name, not as a piece of history, but as an activation. Right now, place your hand over your chest, feel your heartbeat beneath your palm. That rhythm you feel is not random. It is the echo of something ancient moving through you. If you found this video tonight, it is because you were meant to find it. The algorithm didn't bring you here, your frequency did. If you are one of the chosen ones who has always sensed there was something more, something hidden beneath the surface of religion, then listen closely. What you are about to receive is not information, it is a key. Let's go back to where it started. Let me show you what really happened. What you are about to hear is framed by an ancient enigma, a tale of lost secrets and buried truths, a mystery that reaches from the dust of an ancient desert to the very heart of your reality. In 325 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine needed a unified religion to control his crumbling empire. He convened the Council of Nicaea. It was a political meeting, not a spiritual one. They decided which books would go into the Bible and which would be erased from history. They chose the books that taught obedience. They chose the books that depicted God as a distant king and humans as sinful subjects. But they burned the books that taught gnosis, direct knowledge. They hunted down the Gnostics. They destroyed their libraries. They executed their teachers. For 1,600 years, the world thought these teachings were lost forever. But the desert remembers. The jar at Nag Hammadi was a time capsule, buried by monks of the Pacomian monastery who knew the church was coming for them. They buried the truth so that one day, when humanity was ready to handle it, it would resurface. That day is today, and what they were hiding was the truth about the entity you call God and the tragic mistake that created our world. Let's look at this through a modern lens, but deeper than we ever have before. Most of you have seen The Matrix. You know the premise. Humanity is trapped in a simulated reality. The Wachowskis admitted this was an allegory for Gnosticism, but the movie left out the most heartbreaking part of the story, the mother. In standard religion, God is a father figure. But in the Gnostic texts found in that jar,
sharp when it's heavy. You're too composed when it's dark. And yeah, let's be real. Part of them is confused because they expected you to be normal. They expected you to have a breaking point. But you've already been broken before. That's what they don't understand. You already lived through the part that kills most people. You already survived the chapter that ends careers, relationships, identities. You've been humiliated, left out, betrayed, doubted. You've stared at ceilings at 3 a.m. with your thoughts screaming. You've sat in silence with nobody coming to save you. You've had to rebuild your self-respect from dust. So now, when they apply pressure, it doesn't feel like pressure. It feels familiar, and that's why they're losing staff. 'Cause you're not a regular target. You're the type of person who becomes more dangerous the more you're watched. Because attention sharpens you, pressure focuses you, threat makes you cleaner, and every time you sense eyes on you, you don't crumble. You lock in, you get quiet, you get surgical. you start moving like somebody who's already 10 steps ahead. And that's the part nobody can stop. Because even if they watch you, they can't watch your mind. Even if they follow you, they can't follow your discipline. Even if they study your routine, they can't predict your evolution. You're not a schedule, you're a transformation. And transformations don't leave footprints the same way. Now let me hit you with something that's gonna make your chest feel weird. The Fed shielding you is proof you're not the villain in this story. They're the one with the moral injury. They're the one who went home and couldn't sleep. They're the one who looked in the mirror and thought, why are we doing this to them? And listen, don't get emotional about it. Don't romanticize it. This isn't some movie. This is a symptom of your gravity. When you carry a certain kind of presence, even enemies start acting weird around you. Because deep down, people know what real power looks like. Real power doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't explain itself. It just is. And you've been becoming that. That's why even trained observers are getting shaken. Now here's what I want you to do with this information. I want you to stop acting like being watched is a curse. It's a compliment. It's a promotion. It means you're past the point of being ignored. You're not in the crowd anymore. You're on the board. You're on the radar. You're in the room without being invited. And yeah, that comes with pressure. But pressure is what makes diamonds, right? And you're not here to be liked. You're here to become undeniable. So when you feel that tension, when you feel that invisible attention, don't shrink. Don't hide. Don't start second-guessing your greatness like, maybe I should chill. No, chill is how people stay average. You don't get watched for being average. You get watched for being a problem, a threat, a disruption, a future headline. And the funniest part, you're not even trying to be. You're just refusing to die inside. You're just refusing to settle. You're just refusing to be emotionally controlled by people who don't even know your full story. That's it. That's all it took. Now, let's talk about the quiet weapons you've been building. Because you've been building weapons, yeah. Not guns, not violence. I'm talking about the weapons that scare systems. Discipline, silence, consistency. The ability to keep going when nobody claps. The ability to improve when nobody notices. The ability to not explain yourself to people who don't deserve context. That's lethal, because weak people need approval. And you started feeding yourself. You started validating yourself. You started becoming your own witness. And once a person becomes their own witness, they become unstoppable. Because they don't need the world to agree anymore. They don't need a crowd. They don't need permission. They don't need somebody to say, you're allowed. They just move. And a person who just moves changes history. So yeah, they assigned 4 watchers. And they learned something that should terrify them. You're not a subject. You're a force. 2 quit because you made them confront their mediocrity. 1 snapped because you refused to be emotionally controlled. And 1 is shielding you because your strength triggered something human in them. Something they forgot they had. And you know what that means? It means your presence is so powerful. It changes the behavior of people trained not to be changed. That's insane. That's rare. That's the kind of power you don't get from motivation quotes. You get it from pain, from betrayal, from surviving yourself, from sitting in the dark long enough to stop fearing it. So next time you feel eyes on you, don't panic. Smile. Just a little. Not because it's funny,